be good for you to look at and consider in ours as well. So if you could pull up Monticello's, is quite lengthy, but it does address things very well and very clear, I think. And it's easy to pull up on the internet.
I'm Kelly Day, 110 West Walnut, a resident of Anamosa. And I think when you're looking at these laws, you need to take into consideration, is it aggressive behavior? Because a lot of times just a dog opening its mouth is not aggressive, especially if you got a 3 or 4 month old puppy. In this instance, if you write it that opening the mouth and putting their mouth on their hand, that's a puppy play. That's not aggressive behavior. And if you want to look at another ordinance, I looked at Mount Vernon's the other day. Oh my gosh, theirs is
Yes.
great. You might want to review it.
And there's very little tolerance there.
Yes, but it very clearly defines a lot of stuff.
I looked at Mount Vernon's too.
Randy Day, 304 South Oak. I don't think this ordinance has been the problem. I've been coming here for a couple years, and I don't know how many times I've heard the chief of police say, we don't deal with dogs. We don't deal with dogs. We don't want to transport them. We're not going to go out on dog calls. We have other things to do. It's not in the budget. So the problem has been the chief of police supervisor. That's the person that can say, you are now dealing with dogs. And that hasn't happened. And until that happens, until there's some type of dog control, and until the police department is told they're going to deal with dogs running loose, then you're always going to have problems.
And we've had councilmen sit here at this table that say, I don't think that the police should spend their time taking
Yeah.
the dogs. So, I mean, when you get that kind of reinforcing, it's
Well,
a missed message, but I agree with what you're saying, Randy.
ultimately,
You shouldn't have to.
Dave is right. It lands on the mayor, and you guys do have some influence.
Okay, we're working on it.
Well, and Dave is right, we do have other vehicles to transport, they don't have to be
Right.
done in the police cars.
Yeah,
And technically, once they get into another vehicle, it may not have to be the police that transport them, it could be another city employee, so.
thanks, Randy.
Do I hear a motion to approve what we have so far? Not that it can't be reinforced by Mount Vernon or Monticello, but I personally think it's important to move forward with what we have tonight to improve what we currently have. And we can add to it as we go forward and,
But if we add to it, will we have to start over 3 readings again?
yes,
So,
Because you're changing
so
it.
let's right now decide what we wanna add to it.
we can't.
We
We don't
Can't
have
do it.
the other ones to.
I
be
make a
able to
motion
add.
that we accept the ordinance as it was presented by the city attorney to the council.
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a
You're
second.
approving you're
First,
approving the
first reading.
First reading.
We're only on first reading. Too many people talking.
Was there a
This-
second, I'm sorry?
Yes, Rich was a second. And this is a roll vote.
Rich,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rod,
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Betty.
Well, of course.
And possible waiver of second and third readings.
At this point in time, I don't wanna waive it,
Okay.
because if we can get the next portion by the next meeting. we
It has to be
This has
done
to go through.
individually. So if we do
No,
something,
what I'm saying is if we get the next portion by the next meeting, we could put that in as first reading.
but this still will be the second reading, or if you
We
redo the
can-
whole thing, you gotta do the whole thing as a first
That's
reading
where I
again.
was going with that, Rich.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you pass the second and third, then you've got this in place tomorrow morning,
When it's published.
when it's published, my mistake, yes. And then we can
Thursday.
go forward, but then we still have to go back to the first reading again. Anytime you change it, you go back to the
The
first.
bond,
Right. Right,
If you
but what I'm saying, no
change it
matter what, the
significantly.
next meeting, we can start at number one.
Mhm.
Even if we don't pass the second and third here tonight, we can still go to number one with the new wording at the next meeting. Correct?
And then you have to go
And we can.
second and third.
Right, on those,
Whatever.
regardless, we're gonna have to go to first, second, third on that. So regardless of what we do, that new wording is not going to come into play until the next meeting,
Well,
if we get it by that time.
If, that's where my confusion came in. So for clarification, we've passed now the first reading, so now we get to come back and do the second reading on this next time, but do a first reading on another one?
We can combine the
That's what I
two,
was trying to
We
avoid.
could combine it and,
but you still go back to the first
Okay.
reading.
I would clarify the process with Adrian before
Yeah.
Thank you.
but I think
if
you,
that's, I'm,
But the only way to implement the wording that Adrian has recommended to us is to do 1, 2, and 3 tonight. Otherwise, it doesn't get implemented until we pass the second and the third on this wording, and it gets published.
We gotta, and I know this seems mundane, you guys, but we gotta get it right. It's important enough to get it right.
At this point, something is better than what we have right
Right.
now.
yeah.
But again, the mayor has to direct the police chief and his department to enforce the ordinance. If you don't have that, it's not worth the paper it's written on.
Hearing no motion for a waiver of second and third reading, we will go to 7.3, discussion and possible action on an agreement between the City of Anamosa and Jones County Animal Welfare Friends.
David Bain, President of the Animal Welfare Friends. Excuse me. You guys should have in your pamphlets there the contract that we came up with, which pretty much states that if a dog, if a resident has a dog and has it contained, whether it's in their garage, on their porch, in their fenced-in yard or whatever, they can go ahead and call dispatch. Dispatch will dispatch either myself or one of our other dog catchers. We will return their call to the actual resident that calls, and we'll arrange pickup or, depending on who's available, whether or not we can pick it up right away or it may have to wait. If that's the case, I would recommend maybe the city find a location somewhere with a kennel, with like a tarp on top, with a doghouse and that, depending on the, because of the weather, you never know. And then we'll pick it up as soon as one of our dog catchers is available to transport back to the shelter. Fees would be, if not reclaimed, the $25 pickup fee, along with $20 a day boarding. But as I said, if the owner does come forward and reclaim, the city does not get billed anything. It all falls on the fees and the reclaim fee and that the owner would pay.
So the $20 for 7 days, what happens after day 7?
Day 7, after day 7, the dog becomes property of AWF, and we are able to put it up for adoption, vaccinate it,
Okay.
spay and neuter, whatever.
And it's $20 per day?
Per day, yes.
So it's $165 if they get it on the 7th day. If they reclaim their dog on
If they
the 7th
reclaim it,
day.
the owner fee is a little more.
Oh, okay.
Because the reclaim fee is $60 for the first offense, plus $20 a day boarding.
120.
And then 120 for the first, for second pick,
Right.
reclaim.
So then we're, if it's picked up by the owner again,
Mhm.
you're charging them, and then the city won't
The
be
city
charged.
will not be billed. It all falls on the owner then.
Do I hear a motion to approve this contract?
I so moved.
Okay, got a second?
Second.
And a second. David?
I just have one question,
Oh,
if it's appropriate.
Yes.
I don't know if this passed already, maybe too late. But if it's a vicious dog that has been taken over to the animal shelter, is there some type of agreement the city has with the animal shelter that that dog does not come back to this city? Because it's supposed to be expelled, is that not correct?
That would go back to our ordinance
Okay.
that we were talking about earlier.
Will the animal shelter know why that particular dog is over there, whether it
Yes.
was running loose versus a vicious
Yes, they
dog?
will.
Okay,
Travis?
Yes.
okay.
Thank you, David. Have a first and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no? Very good. 7.4, discussion and possible action on an alley closure request submitted by Citizens Bank for east-west alley in parking lot area of the bank.
So moved.
I have a first by Cody, a second by Betty. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no? Thank you. Public Works, 8.1, discussion of possible action, or possible approving resolution approving the agreement and notice to proceed with Kalachi Construction Incorporated for the water treatment plant expansion project.
Just for clarification, I talked to Heath Picken today. They have all the documents. I have the original agreement ready. And I just wanted to be clear that there is one part of it that they're waiting for their insurance agent to name additional insured, I think is what they call it. But I didn't know if we should pass the resolution approving the agreement signing or wait, and Heath feels that the cities would be fine. If Dale can sign the agreement when he comes back, and he will make sure that those documents are in place, because it's a requirement in the contract, in the bid documents. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that there's one little thing hanging out there, so.
I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Cody's first, Rich is second. Any discussion? And this is a roll vote.
Bill,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rod,
Yes.
Cody,
Yes.
Betty,
Yes.
Rich.
Yes.
9.0, finance none. 10.0.
Bill, I just had a question.
Yes.
On these reports they all gave, their monthly reports, which they're doing a lot and all the department heads have left. I just wondered, Greg mentioned and Tyler, and I know Dan would like to get prison workers, why, I know Al isn't here, why he has not been able to get them. I wondered,
He has to go through the training.
he did.
Then I don't know.
I just
He
wondered what,
He needs to coordinate with Greg and find out what the process is.
Well, I mean-
Greg uses them all the time, and so does.
Or maybe
Yeah.
he just needs to go to the warden's office and.
well, I
let the
just
warden
wondered
know.
what, I know it's a good thing they're doing it, and it
Does
saves.
he have, is it I don't know what they do, but like, or what kind of work he wants them to do? Can they run like the jetter and do different work?
They could assist, but they couldn't run it, and they
No,
can't
but
drive.
I ran into the gentleman out at Automotive Service getting a tire fixed, Brian Tracy. And
Yeah.
he's the one that went around, he said he talked to all of them, they're all qualified, they could paint, clean, scrub, and help with them.
I think he has a lot of cleaning to do on those tanks. and-
Yeah, and it just would help out to relieve the other guys to do their jetting, which needs to be done. And I don't know what to tell him or
I think
what.
it falls back on Dan asking the appropriate questions, because
Who's he go to then? The ward, does he go to?
Al has been directing Dan on this scenario, so
Okay,
I mean, that's a question that needs to be asked of Al.
yeah, okay. Well, I know he's not here, but when the other gentleman mentioned that they were using it, it'd just be nice to do with all departments to help out, get caught up on stuff. That's, okay, thank you.
This is the time of year, the
Yeah.
weather's nice, get them out and get stuff done.
Yeah.
Tammy, do you have anything for city administrator's report?
I just have a couple things. First of all, we did receive and I think the chamber did too, the RAGBRAI. We need to let them know for 2018, it's July 22nd to July 28th. The route hasn't been picked yet. That won't be announced until January, I think they said. So I didn't know if the city wanted us to submit that for a possible stop in town.
Why not?
Yeah,
I'm in favor of
it's
it.
just throwing your name in the hat.
Yeah, That's
Well,
what I
and it
think.
might not
Dusty's
even,
ready to do another project.
it might not even be,
They
we
can
might
walk
not
the
even be in
trail.
the route area, because they haven't said yet.
Yeah.
But, because we'd also need to get with the hotels, because they need to,
Block off rooms.
they'd have to be willing to do that. So I'm just asking on that.
I had a brief conversation with Leanna Boone today about it, and they were turning theirs in, from what I understand,
Okay,
on the chamber side.
okay.
I think we're 3 or 4 years
Is,
away.
we don't have to like vote or anything, we just do it.
No, I just need an okay from you guys. That's how Al's done it in the past. if you're okay with
Proceed.
that. And then, another question came up, and I know Bob isn't here. I think Al has indicated to the council that, they have been working with a couple potential places to place the police department. Move them out of that building, potentially and rent or lease, another building. There's the Farm Bureau building, Vance is gonna be renting that out, leasing out that main floor. It's and he's asking, cause he was trying to get a hold of Al, and in gathering information from him, it's about, 2,500 square feet, and I asked Bob to meet with Vance last week to see, and there's a storage area too, so I'm just asking for Vance. Is it something the council would be at all thinking about? I mean, I know you can't say yes or no, but is there a thought about,
Is it handicap accessible?
yes,
That would take care of one problem.
yes.
Possibly if it was a temporary fix with a permanent fix in the future,
Can we get
the
some-
near future. But I don't see us moving to move again though.
I'm just asking, cause
And
I
can
told Vance that,
we get something from Vance, like what a rental agreement would look like? Would it be, would we lease it for X amount of time or?
I can
how
ask
many-
him that question.
He would give us some information.
It would, I can tell you this, it would be about, for that whole thing and the storage area, approximately, 2,500.
A month.
And utilities, electric and gas included.
Okay, can we, get the information, like, get, like, how long the lease and different things like that?
That would be the main question to ask, is, number one, if it would work for Bob at the police department, and then, I just wanna get a feel to see if it was even
Well,
a
then we
temporary thing
have
with
to
you.
match it against his budget, wouldn't we? Like, figure out what
You'd
it
have to
costs
find
him
the
to
money.
be there, is what it costs to be there. I
You know,
mean,
otherwise,
mhm.
just where they're at until something more permanent is decided. I just didn't know if it was important for anybody else to move them out of there now.
Well, you'd also have to figure out the move cost, because by the time you get done with communications and everything
I
else,
was thinking that too. You'd want them to
that's
do a
gonna
lot.
have to be factored in.
So I just,
And if you had a remodel or anything, would they allow
Vance
that?
is
Like you
doing
said,
the
the
remodeling
money
right
you'd
now.
spend,
yeah, you won't have to remodel if you're gonna be
It would be
moving.
better for us to find a permanent location for them.
I was leaning that way, but I didn't wanna answer for the council, cause if you're gonna spend that money and it's only temporary, why not let them
Yeah.
stay
find
where they're
something,
at?
Well, is
something
that what
permanent.
we believe we should instruct Tammy to do, is tell Vance, thanks, but no thanks?
Is that where you're leading? And that's fine, he just needs to know one way or the other. He would prefer to have one person run out the whole.
I hate to make a decision without numbers, I'm a number girl.
Well, that's why he gave you that dollar amount, so you
Whatever,
can have an
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, but it didn't give us all the numbers we needed,
No,
Right, but
so,
pay nothing now, or pay 2,500 a month.
I know.
on
Temporary.
2,500 a month plus moving costs plus.
Right, but even without
So,
all that.
Setting everything up.
Okay, anything else, Tammy?
Tim Shada wanted to address the council? Tim, oh, sorry, you're moved.
I'm over here.
Sorry.
Tim Shada, Animals Fire Chief. I live at 400 East First Street. And I have an application here from Travis McNally, who is an officer here in town. And the reason I have this is because, as most of you know, we are short, very short on daytime firemen. And as of last Monday night, we just lost another one because of his job. Now, I'd spoken with Travis a couple different times in the last couple months. He does reside in Monticello. He is on the Monticello department, but he would like, and I would like, him to possibly be able to be on our department. It may not last permanently, but as far as it goes right now, he is daytime available. He has extensive training. If he were to come on our department, he could go do everything we needed him to do right away. Otherwise, anybody else that comes onto the department, if they're not at least firefighter one trained, it's gonna take them up to 70 to 80 hours for training, which probably takes the better part of a year to get him through that training. The biggest problem I'm having with this is when Travis approached me with this, and please correct me if this is not right, because I would just as soon be corrected, that it was said through the grapevine that the city will not take on any more firemen that work for the city. They will no longer let any more of them leave. So if that statement is not true, and that's the biggest reason I'm bringing this application to you tonight, as opposed to the way it's regularly
Can
done.
I ask who maybe said that statement?
I've never heard that before.
And clarify for me, you're saying that the council is,
The council said that?
No, it was said, and like I said, if you gotta correct me, please do, but it was said, I guess possibly by a third party, went from this guy to this guy, and then to me.
So you want to just make sure the council has your
I wanna
backing
make
on it.
sure that statement was probably never made, and that's not gonna be the policy here.
If Travis is number 2 on the shift, and there's somebody still in blue on the street, I don't have a problem with Travis responding.
That's perfectly fair.
Cannot.
No, if he's out there
fire
alone,
police
no,
officer.
I completely understand that.
So
if he's out there
That being
alone.
said, I'm in favor of Travis, your application going in front of your board members, if, depending on what the
And
rest of the council thinks.
it's gone in front of the fire membership last Monday night,
Okay.
and they're all okay with it too.
So if he's in a patrol car working for the city of Anamosa and there's a fire, you probably need the police officer to direct traffic and do police work or whatever also, right?
Well, there again, it goes like what Bill just said. If he's the only one on at the time, then yes, he's got police duties to take care of.
Because they kind of go hand in hand.
Yes. Now, help me out, Travis. If there's 2 of you on duty, and this all works for everybody, you can strip from your police uniform, dress in a fire uniform, and work with us.
Given a daytime fire scene, I'd be more beneficial helping the fire department out than I would be directing traffic on a city street. Take Chamber Drive Fire, for example. Both departments, Monticello and Anamosa, were very short-staffed due to training that took place, I believe, in the middle of the state. Monticello Fire brought my gear over so I could assist Anamosa Fire at that fire scene adequately versus standing in
In
the
a
grass.
residential.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a situational thing. Again, if they're short-staffed and I'm available, I do more good in fire gear at fire scene than doing this uniform, standing there with.
So we just need to give an indication to the chief.
well, we need, it'll be on the next agenda.
It needs to go back, according to Tammy, it needs to go back to the next council meeting, which is fine.
Okay.
But I wanted to be able to explain the conversation that I heard and all this and make sure that it's
Okay.
all right with all you
So
guys if
are
this takes
there-
place.
Are there rules that if I work for the city of Anamosa as a city employee, then I,
It would be internal to the city administration,
What,
probably.
I guess
Are you
I'm
talking-
confused by what he's saying that.
There are employers that will not let their employees leave for a fire.
Correct.
And we
In
have
the private
a water department employee as a member of the fire
Like I said,
department.
you already have some.
We have, right now, there's 3 members, Jamie, Dave, and Chuck. I guess I'm not sure which department Chuck's under.
He's under streets, but he's
He's-
only
okay,
half-time, I
okay.
think.
But right now, there are
Barnes.
3 members that work for the city that are on the department that are available during the daytime.
And with
And-
Jamie and Travis both from the same department, it's okay that they're both gone? I mean, that's okay?
Different functions,
So that's okay?
Yeah, they're not both officers,
yeah.
And
so,
it is a policy of the city too, that if you're, like, say, for example, if Travis went to a fire call during the day,
Mhm.
and he could, because there was 2 people, if it's a fire within the city limits, the city will pay him for his regular day, during his regular hours. If he wants to respond to a fire outside the city limits, then he wouldn't be on the city clock anymore.
And I would hope, maybe that's the fine line. Do we say if you're in city limits as a patrol officer not to leave city limits, or we just don't care?
At
Pretty
that
sure he
stage,
could make that.
it's a public safety issue
Right.
exactly.
that we need to allow them to.
Because if he's in the middle of a fire, you can't say, hey, we need you to get back in uniform and come back to work. It doesn't-
Or-
That's what I'm
Or
saying.
they're relying on him because they're short-handed during the day.
As
It's a-
long as
And,
we're
and
not
the
short
people
here.
that live in the rural area, I understand the taxes and all that don't work the same, but they are still part of our community.
Yes.
Exactly.
Correct.
Because we have a combined department.
Mhm.
And just, the city vehicle would not be responding outside the city limits. The
Right.
Fire station, and I know they have facilities up there to shower, so I could
Mhm.
get back in uniform, there wouldn't be any downtime in that aspect, to just be prepped to get ready for shift again, so.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay, so I
Tim, I'm
just,
not gonna comment on third-party rhetoric, but I will tell you, as a council person, I have not made that comment.
that's perfect, and I hope whatever I heard was turned around from this party to this party by the time it got to me.
Out of context.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never
I'm
heard anybody
shocked.
say that, but,
Do you have anything else? Thanks, Tim.
no, I'm good.
Can I just, yeah, I'll just turn this over. One other thing, I was notified last Monday that our new pumper that we ordered should be arriving mid-October. You've already told, okay.
No, I was good, that's a good point,
Yeah,
I should
yeah.
have brought that up,
It's been
sorry.
a year? It's been a year already?
No.
No.
No, it wasn't supposed to be here till
Well,
February.
that's what we thought was
No,
February.
You can't get it till February.
You can't.
We don't have it budgeted.
Guys, you wanna come up here now?
Now I know the reason for the heat.
Did they get the right color on it?
Right color, everything's
The issue is gonna be the
Funding.
the funding.
paying
So
for it.
we're
That's,
just,
yeah.
So they need to decide local banks or finance companies,
And
so
if you
we
need,
need to research that.
if you or Al need some kind of assistance with that, let me know. If there's something I can do or
All we have to
run.
do is get a hold of the bonding attorney.
Or what- yeah,
Get that
okay.
resolution.
Can we
Alright.
do that locally? Divide it up 3 ways?
You sure can, the banks are willing to do it.
It was, Al and I and Mike talked about that. He wanted to wait a little further down the line till he got an exact figure.
Because we
before
didn't
he
think
went to
we
the
were getting it
banks.
until February.
Yeah.
But yeah, well,
So,
anyway, okay, thank you.
Tim?
Tim,
Anything else? Any more surprises for us?
no,
Okay.
please.
we're done next year.
Mayor and council reports. I don't have any.
Park board meeting was on August 2nd. Brief you, obviously, we accepted their recommendation for Lindsay Duncan to serve. They had a very strong list of candidates to go over and decide on Lindsay. I was rather impressed by the bios that were submitted by the individuals. The park board is also working to get the Jim McDonough concert back in December. LCC will be a co-sponsor of that. Anamosa Day at the ballpark, there was 325 tickets distributed for that ball game. They worked with the chamber on that. They are in the process of soliciting for a grant application for the park shelter. They would need roofing and wiring to occur, so are to be replaced. So hopefully that grant will come through to fund that. The pool, the pump went out and had to be replaced. As you've seen, it was rather high dollar pump by the bill. Youth updates, the summer baseball program has ended, very well attended. They are now shifting gears to work on the flag football. Thursday night in the parks have been extremely well attended, with a lot of positive comment on the feedback side. So Tyler and his team have been doing a fabulous job down there. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
The only thing I wanna say is Macy Sapine was here tonight, and she wanted to talk about Treese Avenue. I think she wants to be put on the agenda for the next meeting, since she didn't stick around. So if you would put her on the agenda,
Yeah, we just asked her to, I'll call her. She just need to put something in writing.
yeah, okay,
And as a presentation, I imagine.
yep,
You know what?
As a presentation.
presentation.
Yes, absolutely.
Public with business with the council on items not on the agenda.
I was gonna say, I can't imagine there's anything left.
I've spoken more tonight than I've thought of in any of the council meetings. Todd Weimer, 112 East Main Street. I was taking out some garbage yesterday, and when my neighbors approached me and asked me if I knew, has the city made a decision or has a decision been discussed as to whether any citywide cleanups are going to be offered? I don't remember if there was one earlier this summer, but
We've had 2 this year.
okay, I just thought I'd bring it up because the neighbor asked, and I said I'd.
We've had 2 so far. I should say maybe not on the same calendar year, but we've had 2.
Oh, yeah.
We've had 2 cleanups, yeah.
Are we gonna have a fall one maybe?
I don't know. I haven't heard from Greg or Al what their intent was, but yeah, we can
Thank
ask
you.
that.
Thanks, Todd. Item 13, adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
First and the second and the third, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Thank you.